we had finished Viññāṇa or consciousness, and just a refresher, it's very important, is that there are 6 consciousness, and those who would like to really understand it well have to go through Mahanidanasutta. Yep. In that, what happens here, there is a fuel and a fire. Okay, so if you want, I can just, for the benefit, I can go through that and then we'll continue on that. It is Mahanidanasutta. Now, what this sutta is all about is there's a fisherman called Sati. Okay. He gets into a wrong kind of perception or a wrong understanding that it's the same consciousness that goes from body to body, and it does merits and demerits and all that. So what we need to understand there is that Buddha asks Sati, my dear Sati, what do you mean by consciousness? So what happens here is that Sati will say, Vyayam bhante pado vedeyo tatra tatra kalyana papakanam kammanam vipakanam pati samvedeti. So he says, Vyayam bhante, this is what bhante I know, vado vadeyo, this is what it is said, tatra tatra kalyana papakanam. Here and there, kalyana is good things and papa is, it's sinful. Kammanam is the karma or the deeds, vipakanam, the fruits, pati samvedeti. So the person or the being or the consciousness suffers, or not suffers, basically feels. Okay. And before that, he would also say, Tataham bhagavata dhammanam desitam ajanami yatha tadevidam viññāṇam sandhavati samsarati anyan iti. Tataham bhagavata. This is how I've understood about bhagavata dhammam. Okay. Desitam, discourses. Ajanami, I've understood. Yatha tadevam, this is how. Viññāṇam, consciousness. Sandhavati. Sandhavana is to go around, roam, move. And samsarati is samsarana, is a samsara. That means keeps on going here and there. And this is what I understand. And then Buddha actually gets wild at him and saying that where on earth have I ever explained to you like this, and how can you misrepresent me like this and all that. So if you were to go slightly ahead of those things, then there is an explanation that aneka paryayena hino bhante paticha samutpadam viññāṇam vuttam bhagavata anyatara pacchaya natti viññāṇasya sambhavo. So in many ways, the Buddha has informed that the consciousness is dependently originated, since without a cause, consciousness doesn't come to be. Basically, this consciousness, what Buddha is referring to, is the 6 consciousness, and not the consciousness which has unchanging nature. Now, what we need to understand in the paticca samutpada cycle is this viññāṇa only. Which viññāṇa? Not the anidasana viññāṇa, which is unestablished consciousness, but we have to understand the 6 consciousness. So chakuncha paticca rupecha uppajjati chakku viññāṇatveva sankhayam gacchati sotancha paticca saddecha uppajjati viññāṇam sota viññānativeva sankhayam gacchati. Ghanancha paticcha gandecha uppajjati viññāṇam ghana viññānatveva sankhayam gacchati jivha paticcha rasecha uppajjati viññāṇam jivha viññānatveva sankhayam gacchati kayancha paticcha pottabhecha uppajjati viññāṇam kaya viññānatveva sankhayam gacchati manancha paticcha dhammecha uppajjati viññāṇam mano viññānatveva sankhayam gacchati seyathapi bhikkhave yam yadeva paccayam paticca aggi jalati tena teneva sankhayam gacchati katancha paticca aggi jalati kataggittveva sankhayam gacchati sakalinkancha paticca aggi jalati sakalikaggitveva sankhayam gacchati tinancha paticca aggi jalati tinaggitveva sankhayam gacchati gomayancha paticca aggi jalati gomayaggittveva sankhayam gacchati tusancha paticca aggi jalati tusaggittveva sankhayam gacchati sankharancha paticca aggi jalati sankharaggittveva sankhayam gacchati. So what this whole passage means? It actually means that when the consciousness gets established, it requires something. So without the chakku and the rupa, or the sota and the saddha and the ghana and the gandha and the jivaha and the kaya and jiva and the rasa and kaya and pottabha and mana and dhamma, there can't be any conscious experience. It's like fuel to the fire. The fuel is the chakku and the rupa, the fire is the consciousness. In the same way, he says here, whichever the aggi is the fire, jalati is burns. Wherever the fire burns, with whatever it is given as fuel. So, katancha, in Kannada also we use the same word kattige. It means wood or logs. Paticca aggi jalati. Because of the wood catching fire, it is called as wood fire or log fire. Then if it is for twig, sakali is twig. If it is with the twig, we call it as twig fire. And then tina is grass. It's called grass fire. Gomaya is the cow dung fire. So here, as you are aware, we make cow dung. So there's a fire. Tusa is husk. So, and then sankhara is trash. So any fire coming out of this is dependently originated. So when they say that avijja pacca is sankhara, is the rubbish, sankhara pacca viññāṇa is the six senses. Never think it is unestablished consciousness. So if there were no six senses and the six sense object, there can't be any viññāṇa at all. So the one what is spoken in the Patisamutpada is six senses. Here he is not talking on the anidassana viññāṇa, unestablished consciousness. So there are two consciousness. One consciousness is that which get established. Another consciousness is that which doesn't get established. Now you can't search for the unestablished consciousness, but you can definitely see the established consciousness. Buddha doesn't ask you to go behind the unestablished consciousness. Buddha asks you to drowse the established consciousness. So when the consciousness is extinguished, it's Nibbana. Okay. Any questions from anyone before we go further?
Sorry.
Yeah,
is it this? What is this unestablished consciousness?
Unestablished is the Viññāṇam Anidassanam. That is, it is unestablished. It doesn't establish with anything. It remains as is.
where is it? So it is now any sense organs or
No.
sense contacts
No.
comes.
No.
So what is that? Where is that?
The nature of the consciousness has two. One is to get established, another one is not to have an establishment. Nibbana is that which is unestablished, and everything else is established. So when we say, yes.
So you mean when unestablished consciousness, that means Nibbana?
Yes. So there is a sutta where it's a beautiful verse where he says, Viññāṇam anidasanam anantam sabbato pabham. These two lines are very important. Viññāṇa is consciousness, anidasana is unestablished. If it is unestablished, then ananta, endless, and sabbato pabham, lustrous on all sides. That's the nature of consciousness.
So that's Nibbana.
Pardon?
That's Nibbana.
Now, you call it as Nibbana, don't call it Nibbana. The moment you call it as Nibbana, it gets established. So that's the reason he doesn't use any words, phrases, sentences. He just says, Ragakhayo, Dosakhayo, Mohakhayo, Nibbana. Because that's the best way to put forth that argument. Because
so where is that? Where is that you told that sutta where it explains?
I will send it to you. Right now, sending it doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
That's a very big sutta. It comes in the end of the sutta where he says how to understand that unestablished consciousness. Okay. Now, if I were to send it right away, it takes out the thing what we are supposed to be talking. So I will send it to you. I'll actually send it to everyone. Or anyway, our friend Harry can send it because he knows where it is. Okay, somebody has wanted to join. Yes. Hi, May.
Hello.
Yeah, he will. Hi. So he will send it to you. You can go through it, Bobby, and sometime later we can discuss on that. But it would be only a discussion. You will get to see it when you are at a anagami phala in actual sense. At present, when you read that sutta, you just have to take it with a pinch of salt that there is something called as an unestablished consciousness. Okay? If you get too much drawn into it, the consciousness gets established there. And if the consciousness gets established there, you will never be able to go further. It doesn't happen in Sakadagami as well. It only happens at Anagami Phala. And you will come to see it that, this is the unestablished consciousness. Example. Now, I go to a retreat. Is it established or unestablished? It's established in the retreat. What if I were to do animitta, signless? The signless state of the mind is unestablished. There's no establishing. If there is no establishing, the moment that unestablishment happens, the Nibbana happens. Okay, so there is a process for that. Since you asked me this question, let me complete it off. So, Viññāṇa anidasanam anantam sabbato pabam yatta patavicha apocha tejocha vayo nagadati. It is when the consciousness doesn't take the patavi apo tejo vayo yatta digancha rasancha anuthula shubha ashubham. That means it doesn't take the attributes of it, that is long and short, fat and lean, like that. Yatta namancha rupancha asesam uparujjati, because Viññāṇa can only be formed on Nāmarūpa. If there were no Nāmarūpa, then there is no Viññāṇa. Viññāṇasa nirodhena yattesam uparujjati. That means with this unestablished consciousness gone, there is no residue of the consciousness. That doesn't mean that the person is dead, but it means the established consciousness is gone forever. Okay. In the Sanyukta Nikaya, if you go to Khanda Vagga, there is an explanation of the 5 aggregates, which you need to remember it all the time. It is Ahara Samudayo, Rupa Samudayo, Ahara Nirodho, Rupa Nirodho, Passa Samudayo, Vedana Samudayo, Passa Samudayo, Sanya Samudayo, Passa Samudayo, Sankhara Samudayo, Nāmarūpa Samudayo, Viññāṇa Samudayo. Now, if the Passa were to be removed, Passa Nirodho, Vedana Nirodho, Sanya Nirodho, Sankhara Nirodho, Nāmarūpa Nirodho, Viññāṇa Nirodho. Okay? Now, this 5 aggregates of especially the consciousness will go at anagami stage because it requires kama, chanda and vyapada as the fuel. Since it doesn't have the kama, chanda and vyapada as a fuel, that consciousness gets extinguished. And what remains in the consciousness establishing is on the rupa raga. That means he can go to first 4 jhanas, that is arupa raga. He can go to the 4 arupa jhanas, that is, then there is mana that he is establishing, that is, the consciousness is getting established in the anagami state, which is in a Brahma realm. Then there is mana is there, restlessness is there, because the consciousness cannot stay there for long, wants to stay there, and hence there is restlessness. And then there is avidya, ignorance, right? These are the 5 higher fetters which are there in the consciousness. So what happened is that it has only got rid of the 5 lower fetters. So if a person is an anagami, then he can see for himself that in the consciousness, in the chitta, which is the mind, which has the consciousness also along with it, there is no kamachanda and vyapada. That means there is no interest for sensuality, especially sexuality, and there is no vyapada in terms of feeling uneasy that this sense is not doing this and the sense is not doing that. Okay, so this is what is the establishing. So presently, even if an anagami, it's established consciousness. It's established on the 5 higher fetters. It has only given up on the 5 lower fetters. Now the objective is to cleanse from chitta, which is also known as consciousness, also called as mind. And once it happens, it doesn't get established any longer. So in an arhat, there is no consciousness which gets established at all. He creates that at that moment and throws it out just like the fire and the wood. As soon as the work is done, he will extinguish and throw it. Doesn't keep it. Again, someone comes, again there is a burning, again as soon as that event is occurred, gone. Okay. Any question, Bobby, before we proceed? This is the total thing. Okay. Now this is called as Sankha. Sankhya means to reckon, to say, to count, to understand, to arrive, to conclude. Okay. So the 6 consciousness in question of whatever we are speaking right now is this fuel and fire, and Sankhara Pacchaya Viññāṇa is the 6th consciousness. It's not the unestablished consciousness. Having understood that, so let's proceed further on Sankhara Pacchaya Viññāṇa. So there is a little bit of theory you need to know about how the chitta goes into Viññāṇa. So yam chittam mano manasam hadayam pandaram mano mana ayatanam mana indriyam viññānam viññāna khando tajja mano viññāna dhatu idam vachyati sankhara pacchaya viññānam. So this is the definition for sankhara pacchaya viññāna. Now you might ask where this is. It is in the Vibhanga. So you need to go and check in the Vibhanga and you will find this definition of sankhara pacchaya viññāna. If you just were to read sankhara pacchaya viññāna, then you just think it's just a consciousness and that's it. No. Now, what this means, chitta The word is from the root word chit, means to shine, to light. And in this context, it's to know, to be aware. So when we say be aware, be aware, be aware, is coming back to the chitta. And mano is to have a recognition, to just recognize the object. And manasam is deciding what that object is. And hadayam is considering that object as mind, keeping near to the heart. Pandaram is having a liking for that object and possessing that object or throwing it out, because there is a sense of ownership. Mana ayatana is the field where the fire burns. So mana ayatana is mano becomes the fuel. The ayatana is the fireplace. So just like chakku ayatana, you have mano ayatana. So now you have a place where things can get burned, which we can say his mind is burning, either with desire or with hatred or with delusion. And that is happening in mana ayatana. Now that fire has to have some senses. So it comes into mana indriya. It's a virtual place for it to experience. That is mana indriya, which has its own faculty. It decides what it is. It will take the one which is liking and the one which is disliking, but both are fire. There is no respite from the fire. So mana indriya. Then we come into Viññāṇa. V plus jnana. Jnana is to know. Viññāṇa is that which cannot know. Chitta, aware. Here the awareness has got merged with some shit or some trash. Right? So now we don't know what we are seeing. I'll give an example. Now the chitta stage is that you can see only the four elements along with consciousness. And mano is to recognize that this is so and so person. So there is limited amount of fabrication or dirt. Manasam is how you see and you not only recognize, you decide, or the manasikara already happens, and that's the reason it's called manasam. And if the object is known to you, you get into hadaya. Object is not known to you, you want to know that object, which is also hadaya. Now that you know the object, you know that it is your object, so there is a pandara. You take it. Then it starts burning, mano mana ayatana. And when it starts burning, you need a place for it to burn, that is mana indriya. Now you got into the Viññāṇa, which is you don't have a knowledge. So when I see Aryu, I take Aryu as Aryu instead of 4 elements or 5 elements plus consciousness. Am I aware that there's no Aryu, or there is no Bobby or May or Shreyas, Ravindra? No. I know there is a person sitting in front of me. I might pretend that, it is 5 elements and 1 consciousness, but I actually know it is not true. Okay? So this becomes Viññāṇa khanda. Khanda means a trunk of the tree. It is strengthened and there is a personal experience. So I am experiencing Aryu and Bobby and Ravindra and Shreyas and May at this point in time. So can I erase it? No. Why? Because it's established consciousness. Got it. Yes, Aryu, wanted to say something.
Yeah, Yeah, it's just it's new to me that you are connecting the manasa stage with the manasikara, right? So I guess this is where the yoniso versus ayoniso manasikara is matters, because the objectification decide if it's subha, right? Then the hadaya happens, because what's nice, you want to hold it.
Right.
But what if it's subha? Then the hadaya does not happen. It stops there.
You are getting irritated, so you'll try to throw it out, which is still hadaya, which is what I said. You either dislike it or like it, and both are happening there because of ayoniso manasikara. So manasam is the place where the decision making happens for good.
Mm. But if it's the supasanya, you should not try to hold it, and maybe you can leave it, not go to hadaya.
No, you shouldn't even hold both of them.
So that's why a supasanya is the beginning. You want to.
That's the reason Anidasana Viññāṇa has subha asubham. Right? That's the reason it is there. Because you are distinguishing, this is subha, this is asubha. So you are burning. Either way, you are burning. Okay, so the one I want to keep it, which is still burning. It's burning inside me. And then we say that my heart is burning. So when we say a song, my heart is beating, keeps on repeating. There's a Hindi song, but sung in English. The first ever English song in a Hindi movie. It's a very nice song. From a movie called Julie, and it's a very good song. At least the first few lines are very good. So it says, my heart is beating, keeps on repeating, I'm waiting for you. Okay, so let's take that. Now, my heart is beating means what? Already burning. Keeps on repeating. So what it is repeating? Mano manasam into hadaya. And I'm waiting for you. That means pandaram, mana manayatanam, mana indriyam, viññāṇa kanda, all that has happened. And I'm waiting for it. Okay. Let's take any object at you. Hey, I want to order something. In the chitta, it arises. Then the mano, what should I order? Then manasam. The sankhara are to be formed. Manasam. So then yoniso or ayoniso. Yoniso means it doesn't go beyond manasam. Ayoniso means it goes beyond manasam, because the objectification is so strong that I can't stop it. So then I want it, right? I want that object at the earliest. So I give a call and find out, when can you deliver? He says 3 days. I fight with him. I need it right now. And he says tomorrow. So he has removed the pain at least by 2 days. Because I love that object, pandara, mana ayatana, burning there, engulfed. Right? And then mana indriya, because that is where you can see it. And then you get the viññāṇa. So what did I get as viññāṇa is that object. That object is self. Right? Yes, Sergio.
So I guess I was just thinking, because when we see a sensual pleasure, right, Buddha wants us to reflect on the nirvana, which is dukkha, let's say. But even dukkha will make it go to hadaya, because it's past.
Yes.
Because it's initially you need that to hit it back, but eventually you need to get to pikka, which is stays at manasa.
Yes. So then you need to put in yoniso manasikara. And when you have the yoniso manasikara, then the hadaya, pandara, mana manayatana, manindram, viññāṇa kanda will not happen, because there is no Nāmarūpa for that, and hence relief. And hence an arhat will only have chittam, mano, manasam only. they don't experience Adayam.
Yeah, there's nothing to take near because it requires a self to be near.
Exactly.
Anyways.
Since there is no self, there is nothing to be taken. Okay, good. So now we proceed further then. Any questions on this 9 stages of Viññāṇa or consciousness? All of you are very clear. Bobby, you might be hearing this for the first time. If yes, you can ask. Otherwise, proceed further.
So you told like this 9 stages of Viññāṇa.
Right.
So is it that what you are saying now?
Yes. So there are 9 stages of this Chitta to Viññāṇa.
Yeah, like is that what you are saying? Like it goes into Hidaya and all this different way it is established.
Yes. So the pure light will get into an impure one in 9 stages, if I could call like that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, like I'm getting a sense of it, but maybe it will get more clear once you come when you go further.
Okay. No, the further one is complicated, and hence I wanted to ask you.
Okay, so can you shortly say that again? So I got all the words, but if you can, in a short way, say that what is the 9 stages? Maybe I'll.
Okay. So let me ask you, what's your name?
Bobby.
Bobby. Sure.
Yeah, name is Bobby. Yeah, I think so.
So you're sure, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yes.
Okay. You have a daughter.
Yes.
And you have a wife.
Yes.
That means you already have Hadaya. Isn't it established in your heart?
Yes.
Right? So if something happens to them, are you unhappy? Are you very happy? Are you neutral?
Yeah, I think I'd be unhappy.
No, it depends on what happens. So if your daughter,
or something when you say something, I thought it is in a negative way.
No.
Yeah.
See, that is how you get caught, right? I just said something. How it can be negative? When did I say?
Correct. Yeah, you didn't say that.
I didn't say that. So you went where? You came to Viññāṇa Khandha. And that's the speed at which this will go. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So now you have in your heart wife and daughter and Brisbane and India and all of that, right?
Yes.
Now you have a Pandhara, meaning there is a possession for you. Yes or no?
Yes.
Good. Then Mana Ayatana, you require a field of experience. So aren't you experiencing India while sitting in Australia?
Yeah.
So then you require its own faculty. It knows what to do. So there is a Mana Indriya. Correct?
Yes.
That means on that screen, India is getting reflected for you. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And then you get Viññāṇa. So you get conscious of India at this point in time, even though you're sitting in Brisbane and it's having 4.5 hours difference between India and Brisbane. Still, aren't you experiencing India?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, that is Viññāṇa.
So
You don't have the jnana, right? You don't know that you are in Brisbane at that point in time. Correct?
Correct, yes.
And then it's a heap of images which is getting formed, right? And aren't you enjoying or suffering those images?
I thought I was enjoying, but now I am suffering actually.
Yeah, you are suffering because it's burning.
Yes. Burning.
Now you see one video on India and then you are not happy. So you check another video on India and another on India and another on India. And when you close your eyes, what do you find?
Yeah, all these images. All these images. Yeah.
So now what happened to Chitta? It is completely
burning.
No, it's completely colored now, right?
Colored.
Colored by what? Dvesha.
Dvesha. So Buddha used that word of it's boiling, right? Dosha is boiling.
Boiling,
Or-
yes. Aren't you boiling?
Yes.
Yes. So you want to do something to India. What do you want to do?
Normally, like I keep it by myself,
No,
because
I'm just saying. Let us not go to the details. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
let's say you're boiling, then what will you do? You want to relieve of your boiling, right?
Hmm.
So what would you do? Either you have to talk to someone or you have to do something
Hmm. Correct.
because you have to get relief from that pain. Now you're pained, right?
Hmm.
So again, a fresh chitta starts with the pain. It goes through mano, then manasam, then hadayam, then pandaram, then mana ayatanam, mana indriyam, viññāṇa, viññāṇa khanda. A new mind comes again, chitta, mano, manasam, like that.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that is
this-
how you get the continuity of images.
Hmm. So this process is very happening in a fraction of a second.
Yes, it's pretty fast.
Hmm. So it's very difficult to catch it.
This you will see it only at Anagami, is why I said that.
Hmm. Yeah.
I can see it.
But it is good to understand it intellectually, right? So that
At least intellectually. Like I can see it. So I don't get bewildered by that.
so that means you can see that all the time, or when you put your mind on that.
No, when there is a yoniso manasikara, I can see it. If I also forget, and then it's the Viññāṇa khanda already.
Mhm. Okay.
So I'll cite some good examples to make it even more spicy. Okay. Let's say there's a girl next door. Beautiful. Right? So where does the beauty exist, Bobby?
Beauty exists in our own mind.
No, they say beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, right? Right.
I think it is frozen.
Pardon?
Oh, I didn't hear what you were saying, because I thought it got frozen.
I think it got frozen for 10 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask you is, what I wanted to say was, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, correct?
Beholder. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's keep that. Where does it come? Where does that holding comes? Where does the
Eyes of
girl
the
come?
beholder.
In the hadaya.
Hmm.
Because beauty is coming in the heart. Wow, she looks so beautiful. Man, this is great. And the other person, if there was a friend of mine, let's say he is a Dhamma friend, say, what beauty? Where did you find the beauty? Did you see? What did I see? Oh, you don't have eyes. You see her skin. Is skin beautiful? Look at her hairs. Is her hair beautiful? Now, if he starts asking this question, it's yoniso manasikara in action. And what happens to beauty? Gets erased,
It fades away.
fades away. This fading away is Nibbana. Got it?
Hmm. But then this type of reflections, even if you we have a lot of perceptions about everything. So, but this type of reflections happen often, right? So that time, the complete fading away is not happening. That's why.
Why? Because a new set will come. So you have to allow that to go away, fade away completely. Viraga, Nirodha, you have to allow it to go. That's the reason in the Goenka technique, they ask you not to react to sensation. The reason being, if you react to sensation, you are not allowing it to go away. It will stay there.
Okay.
So if you allow it to go away, the intensity reduces. So the next time when it comes, chitta mano manasam, There won't be much things. It reduces, it reduces, it reduces. And then it cleanses. The chitta will not hold this information at all. So there's no beauty in the girth.
Because you're wisely reflecting.
You're wisely reflecting. Yes. So yoniso manasikara is wise reflection. Ayoniso manasikara is unwise reflection. Why that is happening is because the manasam is not able to hold, understand, look at in a wiseful way.
Because of so much of ignorance and delusion and everything.
Yes. So it has raga, dvesha, moha. Raga is the, let's see, we can use like desire, and then hatredness and delusion.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Anybody else? Any questions from you on this 9 stages? Pretty clear?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. And other people have already heard me saying it maybe so many number of times, but I can still take it if somebody has a question on that. Otherwise, we'll proceed. So now, we go further. Viññāṇa paccaya Nāmarūpa. A very deep topic. I don't know how much I'm going to cover in the next 15-20 minutes, but it will be a good introduction, not anything. What's a Nama and what's a Rupa? Nama side is a formal name and the Rupa side is a nominal form. So let's understand in a proper perspective. This monastery, what you're seeing here, if the monastery is already established in your mind that this is a monastery, it's very colorful, I need to go to this place, it looks so nice, etc., you're already in trouble because the Nama and Rupa has already got established on consciousness. Okay, the Nama and Rupa has already got established. So what do you see now? This monastery. So go here. Why? Find peace. But how do you know that by going here you get peace? It's so peaceful. That's the reason. Okay. So, Nama is the formal identification. Rupa is the nominal form, meaning form only in the name because there is some striking happening from that whatever object. So this object is striking to my senses. So I need to now have 3 things. One is Vedana, feeling, then Sanya, perception, then there is Sankhara, preparation in the Namakaya. Okay? So in the Mahanidanasutta, DN 16 or DN 15, sorry, if anybody were to go, has to look at 4 parts of it. He talks about Yahi Akarehi. Akara is the shape. Yahi Lingehi, which means the gender, can be a masculine or a feminine or a neuter gender. Yahi Nimittehi, the symbol. Yahi Uddeshehi, the purpose. If it establishes on the Nama, through the Rupa, that is, you need to describe what this is. So the Adhivachana means to describe. So you need to say what it is. Vilas, what is that? Oh, you don't know that? That's a monastery. Because it's striking. Patigha. So, adhivachana sampassa, patigha sampassa. There are two parts of phassa. Adhivachana is to describe. Patigha is the striking. The striking. So when it strikes, the sound strikes in the ear, the eyes, object strikes in the eyes, the smell strikes on the nose, the tongue, the taste, that is the food going into the tongue, the touch, wherever it is on the body, and the Dhamma, things which are appearing on the mind. You need to recognize, and say what it is. And that's how you create a Nāmarūpa relationship. Atti Nama, Atti Rupa. So it's first you need to feel, subject. Subject. You need to describe that object. You just can't say this object and leave it there. You need to describe. So when I say my wife is sitting next to me, that object as a designation. You need to describe and designate so that the next time the symbolization is wife. Right? So first I describe, then I designate. So when we say person A is marrying with person B, you first describe what is marriage. You say marriage is made in heaven or in hell or wherever it is, and then man comes and woman comes and they live happily hereafter. I don't know when they really be happy, but anyway, we presume that they both will be happy and wish them a very happy married life, etc., etc. That is describing. You just describe. Now, you have to designate now. Because just describing will not do anything to you. Because you can't every time say marriage means blah, 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 blah. You can't be reading that. So you'll say, henceforth, this man is now referred as the husband. And this woman is now referred the wife. So next time onwards, you don't have to call that person. You can say he is your husband. So the husband is reflected on consciousness. Now, if he has a yoniso manasikara, wise reflection, he says, when did I have a wife? Excuse me. Tell me this. You just now described what is a wife. You described what is a husband. You describe what is a marriage. But when did I have a wife? If that can happen, then you're out of it. The magic is over. You are no longer in the hold of the Mara. You have escaped the hands of Mara. Yes, you got married. Again, the marriage was a designation. And you describe. What is marriage? Describe. In Christian tradition, marriage means this way. In Hindu tradition, marriage is this way. In Buddhist tradition, marriage is this way. In Islamic tradition, marriage is this way. Boss, what is marriage? I'm describing. I don't want you describing. Tell me what is marriage. And nobody knows. We keep on describing it. Okay, forget marriage. What is an office? Place to work. Define place to work. There's nothing. I'm going on work. And everybody knows you're going on work. How? Because you have made it as a standard. And you say, I'm heading to work. Nobody asks, how can you head to work? Which head? You're heading to means, who knows? This kind of describing is called as adivachana. Vachana is to speak. Adivachana is to excessively say than what the real is. This road goes to Broadway. Which way? Broadway. Give me a second. You said this road goes to Broadway. There is also a way and this is also a way. Don't go into all those details. This road goes to Broadway. This road goes to Broadway means what? Broadway. Now, we use another boulevard. Which boulevard? What does that mean? It means nothing. It's a label. So, if you cut out the label completely, then the existence itself is not. So your job is to cut out all kind of labels. Like, my wife is sitting here, just for conventional purposes. Let's say I have a wife and she's sitting here. Her mother, can she make her wife? Just think. If her mother is a lesbian, yes, maybe. Otherwise, for her, this body is a daughter. So when the patigha, when it strikes, you describe. You describe, you designate. When you designate, you symbolize. When you symbolize, you hold the symbol to be true. You hold it to be true. It's true. In what way it is true? It's true in a way of symbolization. And hence it is formal name over a nominal form. You just name it nominally. Only in the name, the form exists. The wife exists only in the concept. There is no wife. The daughter exists only in that concept. The same way the son exists in the concept. No son can be found. Daughter can be found. Father can be found. Mother can be found. No Brisbane can be found. No Australia can be found. No New Zealand can be found. Nobody can be found. If you go in search of it. And hence Buddha calls sanya, perception, as a mirage. You will never find it. You go and search for your wife. You'll find a body, meaning you'll find a matter. But you would never find a wife, I'm telling you. Try and find it. And if you have a daughter, and the daughter cannot find the wife, she'll find a mother. How strange. You say wife and she says daughter, and the neighbor says a friend, and an office going person says a colleague. To the same body. Isn't it idiotic? And you're referring to what? God only knows. So there was a movie called as Gods Must Be Crazy. I think we are all crazy. So we keep on designating and we keep on saying this is that and that is this. So Viññāṇa Pacchaya Nāmarūpa. Conditioned by the Viññāṇa consciousness, Pacchaya is conditioned. Conditioned by consciousness is the Nāmarūpa. Atti Nama, Atti Rupa. This is the name and this is the form. Yeah, Bobby, I guess you have some questions. Okay, sorry. Fine. So basically, the understanding right now should be the designation, adivachana, sampassa. So you get a touch of that. So all of us are married except for Shreyas. All of us. In the next 50 years, you will never find wife, never had a wife or a husband. And you will never find your daughter and a son. Either you'll find your home or property or money or bank balance or countries and continents, because they are all concepts. And concept has no existence. And then that's the reason it's called as conceptual reality. It's created on the name and form over the consciousness. You're getting conscious of wife and husband, but yet there existed no wife nor husband, because it's a convention. And just a convention need not be a reality. Yes, it has reality. Everybody agrees to it. Hey, come on, you're married. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, good. That's it. I can't go and tell him that, where, show me what is marriage. And he will show me a paper. What? Marriage means paper? Then they will put me in a mental asylum. So instead of I getting into mental asylum, I better agree I got married. Now, if I divorce, means I have gone and signed a paper. Right? I signed a paper. I did not sign on the wife. I signed a stupid paper which will get burned, actually, if put to fire. But I signed a paper, and the paper says that whatever name written on that paper and another name written on that the same paper, they both are no longer going to stay together. When did the name on the paper were staying together to be divorced? Strange. I want to buy a property. Fantastic. How will you buy the property? How will you buy the land? You can't buy the land. You can take the paper. But paper is not land. What did you say? You want to buy a land. Okay, go and buy the land. Who stops you? Yes, sir, you. Go ahead.
The only proper way to buy a land is like anatta pintika. You have to put the whole coin.
Exactly, or something like that, right? So now, how do you buy the land? No, I want to buy a bike. Okay, how do you buy a bike? Bike is a name. In fact, in India, if you use the word bike, it means motorcycle. In US, if you were to say bike, it is a bike. It's a cycle. So here, if we use cycle, we understand. If you say bike, the person is going to give you a motorcycle. And you would say, I never ordered a motorcycle. And you say, you just said bike. So here is a motorcycle for you. Right? So in his Viññāṇa, what got established is a bike. It is a motorcycle. Whereas in the US, if somebody says, I went biking, it means that he went on a cycle, not on a motorcycle. So if somebody were to ask him, at what speed did you go? He would say 10 miles an hour. What kind of motorbike you have? It's me, I never have a motorbike. I went biking, and 10 miles an hour is good speed. Right? And I would go at 100 miles an hour. And he would say, you're bluffing, you're untruthful. I say in India, the bikes goes at 100 miles an hour. And then we fight. And then you ask me, show me your bike. Let me understand. I show you a motorcycle. And you say, this is not what I meant. I meant, you're showing a cycle. So what's the difference between a motorcycle and a cycle? They both are cycle. But it has a motor here there's a motor. And that's it. But what a fight. We are pulling our hairs. Yes, sir.
I guess in a sense you can say a fire burning on the bike is called a bike fire.
Bike fire.
And a bike is burning on the cycle, it's a cycle fire.
Cycle fire, yes, exactly. So in whatever it is going to get established, that is what. So Viññāṇam anidasanam is, if the consciousness is not established anywhere, at peace. That's the reason it's called Anidasana Viññāṇa. This bicycle or bike, motorbike or motorcycle, and the wife and the husband and the children, all these designations are fire. And when you designate, the wife is a fire. She will exist as long as the fuel is there. As long as you don't get divorced, or she dies because the Viññāṇa, the consciousness, has passed away, wife is going to be there. If by chance you lose that fire, right here, right now, even before the death came and took the wife, you are liberated of the wife because she is no longer there. So you have extinguished the fire of lust, hatred, delusion. Because the anger is coming on the wife, right? And the love, so-called love, is coming on the wife, and the delusion is that I have a wife. What if you get a light and you see there was no wife in the first place? What shit I'm talking about? And then there's no wife, or there is no hatred. You will hate someone if you have a possession. If you don't possess it. And that's the reason he's an he's a Sakadagami. Because he can see this and he says, which stupid had a house? He doesn't possess. So beautiful. And hence he is once returner. He's cut out so many lives. Yes, Aryu.
In a sense, the Sakadagami stage, it may go to Haraya, but does not go to Pandaram.
He still has. But that's a Kamachanda and Vyapada is less. And an Anagami, no Kamachanda and Vyapada, because the Yoniso Manasikara don't allow him to go there. Oh. And that means Arhat and him are almost the same, except that the Avidya is still there, and in Arhat, that's the only difference. So, Anagami to Arhat is a 3-step we climbed, and the Sotapanna to Arhat is 14 steps. So, how much steps I need to climb? 3. That's it. Journey ended. Yes, sir.
Sorry, where's the 14 and where's the 3?
Which is what we started, right? I explained to you 8 of them. I did not explain 6 of them.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so shall we end for today? Because if I take this Nāmarūpa Viññāṇa, it will be a long exposition. And tomorrow I'm in office. We'll meet on Thursday. Yes, May, go ahead.
I was waiting for the end of the story from the other day.
Okay, go ahead.
Your story. No, not my story. Your story. You said about 2017, and then you needed to finish the story.
2017, what story? 2018. Okay. I went into different realms of existence, right?
Exactly.
So this happened is that I think I was supposed to conclude. I don't know what did I do. Anyways, good that you reminded me. So in 95, when I had an out-of-body experience, there's a place. It was so peaceful that I asked that whoever I met that, can I be here? And he said, not at this time. So that is one part of the story. And the second part of the story is that while I was in Leh Ladakh, and then I'm sleeping in my room, and then at 3 a.m., I get this beautiful experience of going to different realms. In this case, I'm not sleeping. I'm not slept. I'm sleeping. I'm awake, completely awake. And I seen the person before as well. The same kind of person comes and shows me the lower realm of existence and saying that how that would be. And then he shows me the higher realms of existence. And then he points out that at present where you are is where you are going to come. The body is disintegrated. But you have an opportunity to come completely off. That gave me a tremendous confidence that whatever I am doing is exactly matching. And then I came back and looked at Aganya Sutta, and there is a Lakkhana Sutta and so many other suttas where Buddha explains each of these. And it literally tallied with whatever is said or written there. So that made my confidence boost even more. That exactly what I'm doing is exactly what I'm going to get. So that's about it. Yes, May, go ahead.
So I think the initial question from the other day was what happens when people have near-death experience. Is when people have near-death experience, is that like a certain level of, I don't know, jhana attainment, or is that just an astral body travel?
It's only astral body travel. It's only an astral body travel. Right. So actually you're traveling all the time in your mind, or you might not know it. But what happens is that due to some circumstances, the mind ejects itself out of the body. So that is called as an out-of-body experience. When you are in jhanic attainment also, you're out of the body. Now in the jhana, you're doing it by purpose. And in this case, it has happened by chance or whatever we want to call that as, or at death.
So is that only in the arupa jhanas that you go out of the body?
No, not like that. So there are two rupas. Rupa is a fine material form. This one, what you're wearing, this body is a gross form, sthula. That means you can point out and say, that is where it is. So this is called sthula. And sukuma is fine, can't be seen. So this sukuma is what you are, subtle, not atomic. Anu is atomic. So it's sukuma. Okay. Now, when I say subtle body is always a mental body. So let's take some examples. Let's say I'm watching a TV and I'm thinking something. The mind has moved away from the body. Yes or no? an insect or a mosquito or something is biting, I won't even know, because mind is moved out of the body. Even now, as I speak, I want to be in Australia, and I'm thinking Bobby is going to sponsor me for Australia. I'm teaching him so many things, and he should be sponsoring by now, if he's not. So I start dreaming of Brisbane. What happens? The mind has already gone into Brisbane, while the body is very much sitting here. Isn't it an out-of-body experience of one kind? Is that an arupa or rupa? It is rupa, not arupa. It's a fine material. Did I answer the question, May?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, Saryu.
Yeah, when you say you went to the lower realms, I'm always kind of curious about the Pitta realm. Have you seen anything of that sort? Is that born spontaneously
Yes.
over there?
Yes.
And it does not take a womb.
No.
And how's that Pitta realm different from the people who's in the Gandhava state?
See, the Gandhava is made out, I think we have spent enough time on that, but I don't mind doing it. It depends on the karma. So now when there's a Pitta, the Chitta will remain as it is, right? A Chitta and karma, there's a Utu is there. So they don't come in together like a human womb or an animal womb. They just are there. So appropriate, when you say opapattika, meaning instantaneous, it means that it doesn't require another cycle of existence. Womb existence is one cycle of existence, right? Have you seen a butterfly? Moth becoming a butterfly, right? So first it's a caterpillar. There's one stage of existence. And then it transforms itself into a moth. And then it becomes a butterfly, right? So it goes through this transformation. Do you also become like that? No. Because the Utu is not in that way. It's a nature. So every being has its own nature to nurture it, right? That's the reason it's called Utu. So we can't really say why in this it's like that and why in that it's like that. But the Chitta decides what it wants to be. Yes, Bobby.
So when you go out of this body, what is actually all the consciousness is gone, or is it only only the rupa is remaining, or anything, or jivendriya, all this whatever is giving that life force, is it continuing, or because when the mind is gone completely out of the body, all the consciousness, everything is gone, or just the body? No.
Very good question. I appreciate your question. So it is there in the Mahanidanasutta, MN38. But however, don't have to go there. So like this, there is a battery called as, name it as Jivita Indriya. Okay? There's a battery. The battery decides how long it is going to be there. So the Viññāṇa is going to stay till the battery is there. Once the battery is gone, meaning once that Jivita Indriya is gone, and then basically Viññāṇa has to find another place to exist. Okay. So the six senses are going to be there, and the Jivita Indriya is going to be there. Minimum. So when you have gone on a astral travel, or when you're gone on a near-death experience, or when you're done a jhanic, in all the three states of existence, the Jivita Indriya is intact. So that consciousness which is running is still there. Meaning it has gone on hibernation, but it is not completely gone. Now, what is going into these realms? The six senses. That Viññāṇa, that consciousness with six senses have gone. Like, if I want to come to Brisbane, I'm not going to die here and come over there to Brisbane. In my mind, I am coming to Brisbane, or to, let us say, San Francisco, or to Auckland or wherever, or Wellington, wherever May stays. Now, I need to create a Rupa if I come there, right? If I have an ability to create a Rupa, what happens? I become gross, that there's a gross existence. And maybe May will shriek, saying that, Vilas, you came. Oh my God, how? I just came. You called me, I came. Or Ariu, or anyone. So this astral travel involves two states. One in a gross, in a subtle state, the Rupa, Sukuma, and then in an Arupa state, and then you can create the Rupa. Because the Chitta creates the Rupa anyway.
So is that ability to do that is special psychic power for, or is it like automatically you get in?
You get it.
You
get it as the consciousness gets rid of defilements. There is a possibility always get all of.
Yeah, but in suttas, I remember reading that people who have even attained arahants or anagamis, everybody doesn't have this type of
yes, that is also true. Yeah. That is also true. If there were no chance for that to manifest, it will never manifest. So just because
it is called Iddhipada, what is it?
Iddhipada. Like, yeah. Iddhi means Siddhi, which is one way, and also Iddhi, psychic power. So yeah. Generally it is translated as psychic power, but it is not psychic power, it is Siddhi. Siddhi means to get it. So there are 4 of them, and that is with relation to Nibbanic thing rather than the psychic power. But in English translation, they make it a psychic power, 4 bases of psychic power. It is not psychic power. There's nothing called psychic power. It's Iddhi.
So, but that everybody will not get it, right?
Which for the psychic power.
So for example, Arahant or...
No, not that. There's no guarantee that everyone will get it. Even if they are an Anagami and Arhat, they will get it. Right? Yeah. So like in my case, I'm able to see it. And after 2018, I have never had this experience. So now it is closely coming to
6 years.
6 years. No experience like that. That was the only experience, live experience I had. After that, I have never.
So that means when the conditions are right, that time it just happened. It is not that it's going to happen.
Yes. Yeah. So if I have reached an Anagami stage, it doesn't manifest. I've never seen after that. I tried. I wanted to do. I have done the same meditation what I did one day previously to see. Nothing worked.
So you are saying another question. I was remembering, like you are saying, these beings which are spontaneously born, and womb born. So now, for example, most of the beings, what we know now, goes to the womb, and I presume like because of that they go into very sleep mode and they don't remember anything from their past lives. But if the beings which are born spontaneously, like the next consciousness is just in a very mature state, I believe. So they remember everything in the previous life?
Very good question again. It depends like this. So there are Nāmarūpa like that. Right? So now I need to have that Nāmarūpa completely there, intact, not a distorted image. If yes, like what Buddha says in the Samanya-pala Sutta, you can reflect back and back and back and back and back and back. It keeps on coming back. They can look into their past. That means this Nāmarūpa keeps on showing up. This is the complete set of Nāmarūpa, so he can see the entire journey. That means the consciousness has made journey from this to this, and how did it leave that body, go into the next existence, the next existence. So he can keep on going back to see what happened. Now it can only happen, at least in my case, it happened twice, wherein an opportunity came due to some discussions or whatever, and then it happened. It never happened without a condition. Again, I agree with Buddha that even for that you need to have the condition. It's always conditioned consciousness. It's not unconditioned. It's very true.
That means there is no difference between spontaneously born or womb born in that. It is, anybody can have that.
Yeah,
Even
because it's consciousness already knows all of that. It is not able to place it. See, I will tell you one thing, Bobby. Let's say you were in the school. Since you have been in India and you have studied in India, so let's say in some school in Kerala, you meet a friend. Isn't it the chitta going back to that state in an instant, right?
Yeah.
It's the same. You just have to go one level back to get into the past life. What if your friend you couldn't meet, right? Or that situation couldn't come? Will you now remember how you were in the school life? Maybe you might get few images of that.
Yeah, some idea.
Some idea, but not everything, right? But when your friend comes and he starts narrating,
it connects with so many things.
Yes. It goes into every detail of it, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Same way, right? But at this point in time, you are no longer in the school. But still you will experience school.
Yes. It's the same principle.
It's the same principle, right? And then you will have the same experience, means you exactly are in that school. Right? So if somebody asks me, when was the last you came to US? And I can say the date. Then you say, when we went to Best Buy, instantaneously the chitta goes to Best Buy. Even though there is no Best Buy store as I speak. So that person will say, Vilas, you remember? What is he asking me? Sati, remembrance. Vilas, you remember? We both stood here and there was an Apple sale happening, and we both bought an iPad 2. As I'm speaking, I'm able to see it. As I'm speaking. Now, which Best Buy are you talking about? No, he doesn't have to tell me that. Whether I went in Carmel Best Buy or in Indianapolis Best Buy or went to Chicago Best Buy or whichever Best Buy, it exactly goes there. I don't have to prompt it further. Right? And it picks up that same iPad 2. You just think about it. Right now I'm having iPad 2 in my cupboard, which I can open it and see it, but it doesn't require that. It picks up the same iPad 2. It doesn't take anything else. So it has registered completely. Every action has been registered. It requires a prompt. When the prompt happens,
yes, you remembers.
And you remember everything about it, every detail. Right? And if somebody asks me, how was your flight to Frankfurt? Now, the two things come. Flight and Frankfurt. Did that person say the first flight you took to Frankfurt? It will bring out all experiences from Bangalore to Frankfurt as many times I have flown to Frankfurt. This is the magician, right? He just gets you there instantaneously. No time. How was your child when it was born? There it is. But right now, my son is a 23-year-old. He's a doctor. But he's asking a child. And it brings out the child. You just see this from the pile. Viññāṇa khanda. It brings out what? The child. Shouldn't you appreciate that consciousness? Where it is bringing it out? Another question. Vilas, were you in Bangkok? It doesn't say when, which year, all that. Yes, it goes to Bangkok. What great thing. Like that. Or if somebody were to ask me, how was your experience on Gulf Air as opposed to, let's say, Lufthansa or to Qatar Airways or to Emirates and all that? It brings out everything in a jiffy. American Airlines, British Air, United, Frontier Airlines, and then the Northwest Airlines and Southwest Airlines, and as many airlines have taken, so many things it can just bring in a second. It compares. When you had taken Qatar Airways, this is what you experience. When you had taken the Lufthansa, when you have taken American Airlines, when you have taken United Air, when you have taken Northwest, when you have taken Southwest, when you have taken Alaska Air, when you have taken Frontier Air, when you have taken, let's say, Gulf Air, when you have taken Emirates, when you have taken Air Arabia, when you have taken this, that, how many? Air India, this, you name it, it just brings it. And compares. It compares and knows all the years. How many years you have flown? Those many flights it will bring it. And those many airports it will bring it in a second. And in Heathrow, I was in Terminal 5. And that Terminal 5 today is totally different. Damn it. It knows Heathrow. O'Hare Airport. It knows it. Indianapolis. It knows it. Seattle. It knows it. Denver. It knows it. Okay. Dallas Fort Worth. It knows it. Every airport around I have flown, it knows it. What else? You check. And we are worrying whether I'll get my past life or not. What is this? This is a past life only. What past life it has to bring it for you?
It's simple.
It's as simple as that. There's nothing special about it. Only thing is that the only missing link, Bobby, there is something called relinking consciousness. The past and the new has to be linked. That one thing is not happening. If that linking happens, then you go back and back and back and back and back till when the Viññāṇa first started as whatever, knows all.
So that is a controversy, right? When it is first started, like you can't.
And that's like, he says Ananta. There's no point.
There is no beginning, right?
No beginning. There's no Atita. Atita is the beginning. Ananta is endless. So let's say the Viññāṇa has not seen a particular place, like Auckland. Okay, it doesn't know. It can just know by videos and all that, but there's no real sixth sense experience. So let's say I land in Auckland and I fly to Melbourne, and from there I come to Brisbane. It knows all of that. The roads, how it was and what it was. And even though there is no conscious knowing that, but it registers every damn thing. And that registration is subconscious. You don't have to be conscious of it, but you have taken it. And then comes the unconscious experience, meaning this unconscious mind is always on state. It's not in a off state at all. And then there is a supreme consciousness, which is Anidasana Viññāṇa, which is an established consciousness. The subconscious mind is an established consciousness, but it is unconscious of its existence and hence called Viññāṇa. Yes,
So does that mean this unconscious, which is never offline, does that mean if you get this ability to reflect back with past life and all that, going back Nāmarūpa by Nāmarūpa, that means even when you're sleeping, you'll be able to remember all the time you were sleeping?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Then there's no sleep. Then there's
Okay, so
absolutely
you can remember all the time you sleep and how it was.
Yes,
then.
absolutely. Absolutely. Like, if somebody asks me, tell me your experience on Indianapolis, I would start from 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like that. It just, every detail of Indianapolis, every detail. And that's what he says in Samanyapala Sutta. The Viññāṇa can know every detail of it. And I'm sure I know every detail of everything. So the baseball games we have played, the what we can say, the football, and then the jogging rounds I've had, and this bike rides, and whatever I've done in the place of Indianapolis, or in Chicago, or in Seattle, or in Denver, or wherever it is, just goes. And if somebody asks me, have you been to San Francisco? I say no. But it's in the US. But I have never means what? The consciousness has not got established in San Francisco. But this time around, when it is established in San Francisco, it picks up every detail of San Francisco forever. And the next life, if then opportunity comes, it can go back to San Francisco. And that's what is Viññāṇa. The knower. It knows. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And then the next life, you would feel some kind of attraction towards it without knowing the reason.
That's the reason they call a term called a deja vu, because they don't know how you feel. I was here. I think I was here, right? I was here, and you can't make out. See, I had gone to a place called as Eagle Creek, the very first time, and then Eagle Creek is near what's that? Kentucky. So we had a car ride from Indianapolis to Kentucky. So while I was driving on Kentucky, I was feeling that somewhere I've seen this. I'm sure I've seen this. And the moment I see Eagle Creek, it just took me off, saying that, wow, there's a bridge down there. And it was certainly a bridge down there. I was shocked. How do I know this? Okay, that was one experience. And second experience is about Tibet. A third experience is on, what we can say, the Ladakh. There's so many areas in Ladakh where if I go there, I know what exactly the next thing is going to be. So then when I say to my partner, how do you know it? I know it. So that's happening in Viññāṇa. It's not happening anywhere else, right? It's happening in the consciousness. So the consciousness knows it. So since we can't understand it, we call it a deja vu effect. Yeah, go ahead.
Slight change of quick question regarding your experience. Since you mentioned, I just have a quick small question. So compared to like rich and poor people, right? Rich people are usually small in number. The more poor people are greater in number. Compared to like animals and ants, the humans are less in number. The ants are great in number, right? So what about this beta and the niraya? Are they great in numbers?
Many. Far many.
So they're even many than animal.
It's filled.
So preta is even more than animal.
Yes.
And niraya even more.
Yeah, when I had the first experience in the 2018, I was almost in tears.
So preta more than animal, and niraya even more than preta.
There's a sutta also. So that made me even more confident on Buddha Dhamma Sangha. What he says, what I saw.
Wow.
It's horrible. It's unimaginable pain.
But I
Even-
guess yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Even if there were 1,000 people in this room, it cannot match that place.
So many.
I'm just saying,
So,
you have seen my room, right? The room where you have slept, right? If there were 1,000 people staying in this one small room, would be insufficient in that realm. Meaning,
Both Peta and Niraya.
Niraya is even more horrible, so let's take Peta. But it's cramped. It's so cramped that you don't get anything.
then I also heard that as you go up, like
It's
up
empty.
the heaven,
It's empty.
there's plenty.
It's empty.
Empty. Like one planet might have only one person.
Yeah, and that's true, because he has so much of power that there's no person next to him.
Yeah. So it is like people who are buying a lot of acreage and all here. So as you go up in the heaven, they have the entire big space.
For themselves.
So big mansions.
Yes.
So, but in lower world it is like you was
Cramped
cramped
down.
up. My God, so it is terrible, right? So, which is the sutta you're talking about mentioning that?
There are many suttas. I think I can.
Is it the one he was explaining about the hell and all?
No, there are suttas of the hell and the heaven. There is one sutta where he completely explains. It's in the, if you go to Lakkhana Sutta, also it's there, and there is.
No, I think I've read that in the Divine Messengers. Divine Messengers.
There's Pandita Sutta.
Yeah, Bala Pandita Sutta also talks about.
But it did not talk about number. I mean, not in Peta and Niraya at least.
There are some suttas where he says how terrible it is. That you will find it.
So just a quick question. The Asura is not so great in numbers, right? Because they are more powerful. And they're not. And they're more kind of between human and Deva like that because they're powerful. And
so Asura is above humans?
Different, I guess it's...
Forget all about that. But
yeah.
At present, let's take with a pinch of salt that there is realms like that, and you will see it.
Yeah. And does Asura take a womb birth?
No.
Also instantaneous. Upapatika. So human and animal are only 2 womb births.
Born in air, born in water, born in earth. These 3 have womb birth. Right?
The earth and water. So more
They have womb, right? They have something to come up. They just can't come up. Can be asexual reproduction or sexual reproduction, but still it requires a womb. Like you see an ant or whatever, or some insect, it will go and leave a larva. Yes. Right? Meeting happens somewhere and the larva or whatever, they put it there and then automatically, like in the flies or whatever in the fruit, called as fruit fly. At some point in time, there is a larva in that fruit, and then when fruit matures, this being will come out. Like in the water. So the water, air, this water, sky or air, then land. And that's the reason in the Metta Sutta, the last it says, Samanta Chakkavale, so that it says Pathavi, then it says Apo, then it says Akasa. If you have read the Metta Sutta, not the Karaniya Metta Sutta, just the Metta Sutta, Aham Avero Homi Abhyapaja Homi, you come to the end of it. Yes, is a womb just to develop the body, or there's anything specific? Good question. I think when I want to end it, people are asking very good questions. So now the womb existence is because it's dual existence. So you exist outside, you exist inside. Since you have to experience pain dual side, have womb existence. If you don't have to experience it, then you have instantaneous birth. Or you want to get in the fire instantaneously, then there's no womb required because you're already going into the fire. There's no need for a burning in the womb and then coming out and again burning. So you're directly going there. As you go up, there's no need for a womb because there's no burning. Your mind is not burning. Hence, the womb is removed.
So womb existence is sort of burning experience.
Absolutely right. You just see you're cramped and you're sitting and then you don't know. That's why the Viññāṇa is V plus Jnana. It doesn't know. If we had known, it wouldn't have gone into the womb. Right? See, it's with water, earth, water, fire, air, space. Yes. And it grows. The body is growing, but it's not growing. It's taking pain, right? And the mother is taking pain, whether it's animal or human, doesn't matter. Now, if it were instantaneous, as the Chuti happens here, so he entered into the Deva realm. He forgets all about this pain, what he had. Just there, established. What got established? The consciousness got established from here to there. Read the Mahanidanasutta, Anguttara Nikaya 3.61. Yes. Yes.
So the dual experience that you mentioned is the one inside the womb and the one outside the womb, right?
Yes, it was the same, but you are being boiled twice.
Does that mean that Chitta carries the desire to experience these two feelings?
It has created a situation or a condition necessitating a womb existence. And then hence in the Mahanidanasutta, he says that Gabbasa, no Gabbha.
Okay.
Why? He has cut out permanently. The Kamachanda Vyapada is the one which will boil you twice. If you remove the Kamachanda and Vyapada, then that's it. Only one single boiling, which is in the Brahma realm. That's the reason Mahanidanasutta brings in tears to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to have a forceful end now. Okay,
Thank
we'll
you.
meet